Hey YouTube, coming at you with a Great League team that I may have stolen from an opponent the other day. So if you watched my video yesterday, I was like, I'm going to use a team azumarill, Dewgong, and sandslash. And then like later in the video, I battled that exact same team. So I don't know. So clearly this is not a new team. But it makes, why I thought about this team and why it makes sense is Clodsire is the number one ranked 1 and 2 Pokemon. And there are 500 just ground type Pokemon in this meta right now. So you have 3 Pokemon that can basically kind of deal with all of that, right? You have Azumarill as a water Pokemon, you have Dewgong as a water ice, and then you have Steel in the back. Double weak to fighting in the back. Not a lot of fighters in this meta. Azumarill is the favorite to beat that in the front. Dewgong bulky, Azumarill bulky, Sandslash kind of more spammy and hits hard. So I like the idea of this team. I did pretty well with this team, even though it may not be mine. So let's take a look. Ariados comes in. Sandslash is a fantastic answer to Ariados because you are steel. You resist all the moves, grass, poison, bug. So they trailblaze. I think I'm going to CMP here. Yeah. Just to, I mean, I'm pretty sure I knew that Ariados would win CMP, but that's fine. They get the lunge off. That does lower my attack, so maybe I should have thrown before. But everything's resisted, so I'm not worried about being able to take switch. And they shield, so I'm going to throw on 3 here. I'm trying to maximize energy, but not CMP again where I would lose. And they shield again. So I don't know why they're fighting for so hard. So actually, why they may be fighting so hard and why I did end up shielding there is they had a Dunsparce lead against Azumarill, which is basically neutral, but they say swap to poison in Ariados. So there may be a second poison in the back, like either Clodsire or Toxapex or something. So that is why I kind of saved that Sandslash because I wanted to keep alignment because if there was like a Toxapex on the back, then I am useless with the Azumarill. They ended up giving up switch anyways, so I got the Azumarill back on the Dunsparce. Take it out with this. My switch timer is up. Come in and snipe when they come back in with the Ariados with the banked energy I have on Sandslash. This will take it out. What is in the back? Show me a poison. No, it's a flyer, but does not matter. Same thing. Does not have a good matchup against Sandslash, which is why they were fighting hard. I don't know why they're fighting so hard, but okay. Mirror match. With this team, so you are double weak to fighting in the back, and you're double weak to electric on the front, Azumarill, Dewgong. I did run into a Lantern. I think I maybe put that matchup in here. So it's tough. It's tough to get out of that. The electric is actually more tougher to get out than the fighting, because with the fighters, they at least take neutral to realistically everything that you're throwing. So you're okay in the back. But we're standing here with the mirror match. We are just throwing. I lose CMP, which is not surprising because I got a 1-attack Azumarill, which means that we're both going to get to the play rest at the same time, which means if we both throw at the same time, they are going to throw first. So what I decided to do is just catch on the Sandslash as a steel Pokemon, bank the Azumarill energy. This will be resisted. And again, I am not worried about fighting in this meta. There are not a lot of fighters. I'm pretty sure that Ice Punch would take out from this range, but I just wanted to make sure, so I just threw the drill run. There's not a lot of fighters in this meta, right? There's only like a couple like Pangoro and Machamp, and those are kind of like more overrated than the other fighters of the past. So not as worried about save swapping Sandslash as I would be in the past. And with all the ground, you're not as worried about fire like Skeldurge and stuff anymore. So they come in with their Morpeko. And again, this is where I am double weak to electric here left. So they end up shielding, just trying to commit to this thing. At this point, I think I just need to go double shield Dewgong. I probably should have tried to get out because there's no chance I was going to get to the move first. So at this point, you just got to fortunately shield up everything and then just try and come out with some energy. Because this thing is loaded and it's spammy and it's hit so hard. And even like a dark aura wheel here is still going to hurt a lot. So I would not be surprised if I shield. I do. Back to this mode. And they come in. It is a dragon in the back. So that energy generation is nice. The Morpeko being able to like burn the switch clock with some of its like change animation there is also kind of an interesting like delay tactic. But live the Thunder Punch because I've lowered their attack. They've only got one Pokemon left and no energy on it. So Drill Run will take this out for the rest here. Malamar. Good lead. I think they play this right because you're seeing these Psywaves as a Shadow Claw clone are really, really adding up. And they eventually make a catch on Azumarill. So nice catch. Yeah, I remember what happened here. So I was just at the time thinking, take the resisted bubbles and then try and catch a Play Rough on the Sandslash. Resisted Ice Beam, resisted Play Rough. It's running Hydro. So now they land the neutral Hydro and are doing neutral bubbles. So I just 100% lost switch here. I just lost this Pokemon. So that is unfortunate. So I come back into Azumarill, I guess. But going down a full Pokemon like that and getting hit with a Play Rough here to chip. And losing switch on Malamar. Not that Dewgong... Well, Malamar has a ton of energy and they have superpower, right? So I just put myself in a really kind of screwed spot here, quite honestly. I don't know how I'm going to get back. And it's a Toxapex in the back at that. So I lost my Steel there. Dewgong does have Drill Run, but the Ice Shards are resisted. So the only problem with this team... I mean, there's a few problems with this team. They're weak to fight in the back. They're weak to electric on the front. Ice and water fast moves, which means water Pokemon are going to resist every fast move on this team. Bubble, Powder Snow, and Ice Shard. So there is the argument that you could just go Shadow Claw Sandslash as the Community Day move there. I, again, when I put this team together, was truly just hunting those ground type Pokemon, so I wanted to maximize as much ice and water as I could. But if you want like truly like a more balanced team, I think a Shadow Claw Sandslash is probably going to give you a little more play overall than having 3 Pokemon with ice and water fast moves where you're just kind of limited overall. So Skarmory, have not seen many of those since the nerf. Azumarill's tanky. Even if they throw a Brave Bird, I may be able to live from this range, but it is just a Sky Attack, which just means I'm going to get a second Ice Beam off. I've already grabbed 1 shield. So again, putting yourself in a pretty good situation here. They're not going to get the farm down, so they're going to have to throw here, and they do. Now, Dewgong or Sandslash, probably comes Sandslash just to get ahead on energy here. Yeah, Sandslash is a good one to get ahead on energy. Oh, blind swap into Gligar, which is a top left when I have a shield advantage and double super effective Powder Snows. Good lead. Drapion comes in. Come in here because poison is resisted. Problem is these crunches are going to come pretty fast, or even the Aqua Tail is going to come fast, and potentially cause me some problems here. So baiting on the first one because I know they have energy and they're likely to shield because they want to get this energy off because a crunch would take me out from this range. And it just is a second Aqua Tail. But I've already baited once, so I should be able to outpace here. And these Powder Snows are adding up. So at this point, I was just like, Shadow on Shadow, took it down 50%. I think Ice Punch is probably sufficient at this point. I'm really fighting for Switch. So got to the Ice Punch here. They are getting, maybe I was going to say get ahead on energy, but doesn't look like they're going to get that much ahead on energy. Hydro will come off, doesn't matter. I have a Azumarill lineup here. They're going to try and catch, I figured, and it is a Toxapex in the back, and Toxapex is, again, a little tricky. I have Drill Run, which is super effective, but it's non-stab from a Dewgong. Toxapex is bulky, and they're doing neutral moves with the Poison Jabs, which hurt, and the Sludge Wave, which this is going to hurt a lot. So I really need to get to a second Drill Run here. Luckily, Dewgong is actually really tanky, so it's fine. I really need this Drill Run because if I did not get this off, I would have lost. But getting this off puts me in a pretty decent position here. That they're going to still have... Brian will not take me out. So, oh, they banked the move and sniped me there. Which means that I'm going to have to come out with some energy here. So Hydro's resisted. I cannot take a second though, because if I take a second, I'm now in Sludge Wave range. I can probably live with the bulk and stat product and everything and the good IVs. I can probably live a Sludge Wave from this range, but if I took a Hydro, I could not. So that is why I took it out quick, and as you could see, left with a couple in the red, but a few HP that I get to the move and take it out with the Ice Beam. There. So those are the type of things, like you need to like maximize energy when you can, but not take too much damage. So those are the type of things that you just kind of learn. Ariados lead, safe swap here. And again, for Alligator as a water Pokemon, being able to resist Powder Snow, they let it go. And at this point, I'm like, okay, this is an easy fight for Switch here because I do not want the Ariados on my Azumarill. The only problem, which you're going to see, is Ariados, now with the buffed Trailblaze, is still going to have no problem taking out the combo here with a shield advantage because how spammy it is and how hard it hits. So yes, I do flip switch here, which I think was not a bad idea. They have their own Dewgong, where my ice shards are very resisted on my ice and steel. And I'll get a couple drill runs off and I'll align with the Azumarill. But then again, as you're going to see, I can get a Azumarill in, but then by the time they like come in with their Ariados, this thing's already at like 4 poison stings, which now they're at a Trailblaze already, and the shield advantage. So this thing is just going to ramp up real quick here, and Dewgong and Azumarill are just not fast charging enough to keep up with this. So I'm just, this game's over. So I can basically just top left at this point. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, okay, good job, me. Recognizing when the game is over. It's always nice when you see Pokemon like that on the lead, because that means I've got 3 answers for this. So Dewgong comes in. I have absolutely no rush to get out of here because I have my own Dewgong and a Sandslash in the back to deal with it. So I don't need to super rush this. I can just easily stay in here, take the little bit of energy advantage I have, take the bulk I have. Throwing stab play roughs are better than throwing non-stab drill runs. So able to just out damage Dewgong with having like a bubble advantage too helps. I could probably take one more, but if I don't have to, I will not. So I'm going to throw the Ice Beam. And whether they let this go or not doesn't matter too much to me. Shielding, honestly, probably better because it's not like I need to worry about like the Dragonair is useless against my team. So come in Dewgong because I know they have a bunch of energy. So they're probably going to come in with they're not Dragonair in this matchup. So we'll see whatever's in the back. It's an Azumarill. So we are going to just, I know my attack is lowered. So we will just draw around a couple times. And then I'll probably make a switch. I could realistically just play this out as long as I want. And then come in Sandslash. But it really does not matter when you have 3 Pokemon just that absolutely destroys their team. And there we come. They eventually come in. I'm not going to let them get to a move. Let's just take this out or grab a shield. Take them out. Now I got a shield advantage, Pokemon advantage, typing advantage, Moltres. Instant swap into Wiggly. A little slow on the swap here by me. This is where Powder Snow is better on Wiggly because Shadow Claw would be resisted. They're throwing very quick, which means it's a Swift, which, you know, stab Swift. Everything's resisted anyways. So I go Drill Run, thinking that maybe I can Powder Snow down at this point. So I'm going to try to commit to that, and I get it, which is huge. So the Moltres comes back in. I have a move for it. If whatever comes in the back is coming in, that's fine too. So get off 1 Ice Punch here. This will not take out, and I do not get to another move. But they are now in bubble range. I could come Ice Shard, but Sucker Punch is resisted, so I might as well just take those resisted Sucker Punches on Azumarill, as opposed to just doing super effective Ice Shards, but also taking neutral damage. And I grab a shield, which means I will definitely shield this potential Brave Bird up. Let's see what you have in the back after you Brave Bird here. It is a ground-type Pokemon, and yes, this is exactly what we wanted to see in a ground-dominated meta. There we go. So this is one of the teams where, I mean, I'm sure there's still like a couple minutes of battles left, but yeah, I made it 14 minutes into battles actually talking about the battles. What progress for me. These are the type of teams where there are certain team builds that I do that are like just balanced. There's certain team builds that I do which are like true ABBs. Not as much. I like more balanced teams. And then there's teams where you are giving up losses against certain Pokemon if it means that you are getting wins against the main meta. And that's what this team is. We know, let me just bring up the rankings here just to look at sort of the ground type Pokemon. So Clodsire 1 and 2, Mandibuzz number 3, Gastrodon's a Mud Boy, so offsets there. Diggersby at 7, ground. Quagsire is a Mud Boy. Marowak 13, Jumpluff 15. Couple doubles, Go Lurk 30. So there's a lot of ground. So it's like when there's so much of the top meta that is that, you can just like kind of combo it. Now let me put this team. So when I do these team builds, I use PV Poke generally as a tool when I'm like team building for top teams. But when I'm actually just like building on my own, I don't actually put it into PV Poke. I just kind of run. So the coverage on this is F. And so consistency A, safety C, bulk A, coverage F. And that does not surprise me. You actually lose all 3 to Clodsire. That's insane. I don't care about that sim. I don't even think that's true, quite honestly. But the rest of the front page, you're going to have problems with Feraligatr. We know that, right? I know you'll have problems with Feraligatr because you only have moves that are all resisted by water Pokemon. But at the same time, you will resist their charge moves on 2 of these 3 Pokemon. Then you got like a lot of X's here. Even like your losses, they're not like hard losses. The hardest loss is like Toxapex destroying Azumarill, but we know that. But Dewgong and Sandslash actually beat Toxapex, so that's fine. Machamp down here is going to beat Sandslash and Dewgong, but lose to Azumarill. We know that. But the rest of these are just like good wins or like not hard losses, and that is a good place to be in against some of the top meta Pokemon for the Great League. So that is how I build teams, trying to like hunt certain Pokemon in the meta. So let me know your thoughts below. I'm just checking out my video from this morning. A lot of people are liking, I don't know about liking, but at least watching on the hype for more Peko. I've got a video this afternoon on the Galarian Moltres. And then this one in the morning, and then I'll probably do a viewer submitted this afternoon. I'll give priority to I added a new line. So if you want to submit battles, link in the description. And then I put like, are you a level 1 or 2 YouTube member? Because I'll give those people priority when I'm looking at viewer submitted battles. So new sort of line to fill out in the submission if you want to link below. Otherwise, what I haven't checked, and I know that I said I do these a lot more, and people have been enjoying them, but I have not checked this week what is happening here, is the events that are coming up. So we covered the Halloween event. There are costume Pokemon galore out there right now. Oh yeah, the Harvest. The Harvest, which is Thursday, November 7th. That's not till next week. Do we honestly not have anything for a week here? Daily Pokecoin Bounty Part 3. Costume Pokemon and Gigantamax. That's this week. Max Out Mondays we don't care about. Gift cards we don't care about. Festival of Lights is not us. Is there just like a week of the second Halloween event, and then there's like a 3-day break? That's very rare for Niantic. I mean, it used to be like this. So I always do a history of. So the Halloween event part 2 goes from Monday, October 28th to Sunday, November 3rd at 8 p.m. So we basically have like 4 more days of this. And then there's a big gap between that and the Thursday event. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with no event. And the Thursday event at 10 a.m. is like a grass and normal typing one mostly. Mostly grass. The harvest event. So that's actually quite a bit of a gap. For those of you who are older or not older and do not remember the history, these weekly events have only been a thing for like the last, it's been years now. It's probably been like 3 years now. But there was I started in 2018. I would say my first 3 to 4 years, these weekly events were not a thing. They would have like one event every month. They would have the big community day, which like were useful back then. I've got to say that the past like 5-6 community days have been not as stellar. Like you got to remember when we first started, and maybe it's just like we had all the starter Pokemon that seemed to have like super meta relevance, like getting Hydro Cannon on Empoleon and getting it on Swampert, like and Frenzy Plant on Venusaur and Blast Burn on Charizard. Those were like big community days back in the day, and now you were getting like hunt this new shiny that has no relevance in PvP or raiding. So the raids have been kind of community days have been kind of weak. But then back then it was just like one huge event, and I think it was just like there wasn't a ton of Pokemon in the game. So when they did these events like once a month, they were just like big events, and you really, really went hard to grind. But now there's an event every week, and these rollouts of these events I think are so limited in their scope, right? So this event coming up, this harvest event, increased chance of so the event bonuses, which is what you're mostly going for, increased chance to encounter shiny Pumpkaboo. So you're like hunting Pumpkaboo, and mossy lures affect like get different Pokemon, which are like Executor, Snorlax, and Smolev. Like even like the Pokemon in the wild are Pokemon that have been around for a long time, or just like not great for GBL or raiding. Oddish, Execute, Hoppip, Sunkern, Miltank, Zigzagoon, Bunnelby, and then all the Pumpkaboos and Smolev. So yeah, don't get me wrong. There's I'm gonna go over like Diggersby, Miltank. There's definitely Pokemon in there that are useful in GBL, so I will cover that Thursday, November 7th. So I guess next Wednesday, maybe as a bonus video. Maybe like a bonus Thursday live video. But yeah, it just seems like these events are so more limited in scope than they used to be. And it's just like not as big of a deal. So like there has not been one of these events in a long time where I'm just like, I've got to go out and grind. Whereas in the past, it was just like one big event a month and people are like, we got to go do this event hard. But now it just seems like, if I'm out, I'll catch a few Pokemon. If not, whatever. But I think that's maybe a product of me having played for 6 years now. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you guys care about let me know in the comments below when you started playing, and then how you're feeling about these events and communities compared to like the past. Because for me, it just seems like it's been a huge step back, and I don't know if I've been in the game so long, or these events are coming so often and they're not big enough. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.